Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Unjabulo Ogonchingila, and today I come bearing story time, and then I'm going to be collaborating my story time with, of course, a series that I'm beginning. I'm teaching myself how to do my own makeup. So if you want to see how everything goes and how I got swindled by a guy and his mother ended up being the one paying the debt off, stay tuned. Without any further ado, guys, let's get to the story. I'm using this LA Lab foundation from PEP. So I'm one person who buys cheap makeup due to the fact that I wear makeup once a year, and I also wanted to try it out. Love the coverage. So yes, now met with this guy. We met in high school, but then we started dating after high school. He had a decent job from a huge production company in South Africa. However, he was not permanent then. And then I was also working as an accountant trainee. Not my first big girl job, but I was doing well for myself then also. We began dating, and then he approached me on Facebook. We made it out on Facebook, exchanged numbers, took me out on a few dates. Then after that, we then began dating. Okay, cool. The problem began when he was not a permanent employee, as mentioned. The problem began when he lost when his contract was about to come to an end. That's the problem. His contract was coming to an end, and then that was the inception of the issues. So guys, I'm one person who applies foundation with a blender, and I'm not a pro. I'm also teaching myself how to do my own makeup. Please bear in mind. I try to do my lashes off camera. I'm going to do my my eyebrows off camera because cool guys, I'm back. I'm done with my eyebrows. I did them off camera because I knew that if I was to do them here, it was going to take us forever. Alright, moving right along with the story. There's a brush I lost. Moving right along with the stories, I've mentioned that his contract is basically coming to an end. Being the good girlfriend that I am, I suggest, you know what, let's pray. Let's pray about this. I'm a Christian, so everything that I have and I believe that I want, I strongly believe I get it through prayer. Suggested that, and obviously knowing the person, you could tell that they like, okay, whatever. But I overlooked that still. I fasted. I went on to go as far as fasting for him to get a permanent position. By God's grace, his HR approached him and told him that there's an opening, and for the fact that he has an experience working for this company from the production aspects of things, he will be a good target, you know. He will be a good a perfect candidate for the role. And he applied for the role. Back to this fasting thing, guys. Second red flag. First red flag was the fact that he was this knowing him from high school, right? He was this focused, business orientated, clean chained, who knows what he wants in life, who, you know, this guy's not necessarily a nerd, but loves his own space with his small circle of friends, and is not for the streets, does not party, rather in his computer or PlayStation or juggling business and stuff. While in high school, I'm talking about high school level. So as time went by, I realized that, okay, this person probably outgrew this character because now I'm dealing with the groovist. Completely different from what I knew in high school. Okay, right now I'll be concealing. What I used to conceal is these two foundations. They are in two different shades. This one is still an LA Lab brand and this one is a completely different brand. So I mix them together and concealer. I prefer using foundations to conceal rather than actual concealers. Don't ask me why. Realized that, okay, I'm dating quite a different person from what I knew in high school, because now this person is a serial gravist. Okay, I do believe that people outgrow characters, and I assumed it was one of those. Okay, first red flag. Second red flag, going to the whole fasting aspect. It was the fact that we're not aligned spiritually. Guys, certain things do affect you in the long run in a relationship. What affects a relationship is not necessarily cheating and infidelity or affairs, but spirituality, because his father figure, not his actual father, but his father figure, the person he deemed as a dad at that point in time, was a spiritual healer, a traditional spiritual healer, a traditional doctor, sent to City Inyang. And then for him, no, it's not about where he comes from, but for him, he was not firm about where he stands with faith and Christianity. His father figure is a traditional healer. It has nothing to do with our relationship. Person who he deemed as a dad is a traditional healer, and with him also, he mentioned that obviously he believes in ancestors, worships them, and acknowledges them. However, does not use imiti, which I also overlooked. Then we did not align spiritually, because I don't believe in everybody has their own belief, and whatever works for them is fine. It's not my place to criticize. It's just that for me, as a partner, I'd prefer a person who is spiritually aligned with what I believe in. Okay, that was red flag number 2. We did not align spiritually. So that is an issue in a relationship, because there's more to a relationship more than just the person. There's more that breaks a relationship more than just infidelities. But spirituality is a big aspect of things too, because how are you guys going to manifest things together? Alright, fast forward, I fasted obviously on his behalf for him in order for him to get a permanent position. His HR approached him by God's grace, telling him about this position and how he's going to be a best fit or best candidate for the role based on his experience with the company since his contract was coming to an end. Obviously, we're excited as a couple. He took that opportunity, got the job, got the position, and within a few months in that position, he got a promotion. Guess what? He received a promotion. After receiving that promotion, a few months later, it was a hybrid promotion, so he could work from anywhere. He would go to an office 3-4 times a month. That's when he was required at an office. He was moved to the head office of the company, which was in a completely different province in the Western Cape. He then had to move to Cape Town. I was worried about how that will have an impact on our relationship as a couple, as a young couple who is starting out and trying to figure life together. But obviously, he's just a young man who's trying to figure his way out of life. He won't leave big roles or big positions to accommodate a relationship. Okay, I was fine with that. I was cool with that. Promised would make it work. Would be happier together. Okay. He then moved to that particular place, Cape Town, got an apartment there. Great thing about big companies, they accommodate everything. So what do I mean by that? He was granted accommodation, living allowance, moving allowance, quite a lot more, for him to easily adjust in the place. So life became smoother for him, rather. We continued with our relationship. Okay, cool. As mentioned, guys, I was also working at that time. As mentioned earlier, I was also working at that time, and I had an ultimate goal, apart from obviously like having a solid foundation for my career. I wanted to get a car. So what I would do is I would save half of my monthly income towards the deposit of the car, or if by God's grace I decide to settle for a pre-owned car, if I can afford it with the money I would have saved by then. I had an ultimate goal and I have set the time frame to it, and how was based on how everything was going, I was, I was a girl with the plan. Actually, my plan was going to work regardless. Okay, as he was in Cape Town, everything was flourishing from his end. Would continue, would talk, would call each other. When he visits this side, would see each other. He'd fly me in and out of the city from time to time. Okay, then a year went by. December came home. Everything was great, and another year passed by. We're still cool. We still visit each other as often as would possibly. Then the following year came. It was my birthday, I remember. He flew me into the city, told me he does not have money and had something planned for us, but would have to work with what he has. Didn't mind as long as I was with him. He planned breakfast in the morning, during the day, and then the afternoon dinner. I was okay with that. Completely okay. I mean, what more could you ask for, as long as I was not in Gauteng and I was with him? Okay, we tried to make that work. And I remember after our dinner date in the evening, when I walked to his bathroom, guys, I came across Ditlhare Umuti. So I asked him, I remember asking him, my birthday was on a Saturday that year. I remember my birthday is in October, by the way. I remember asking him what's happening, and he said to me, when he was home being Gauteng, when he was home, he and his mom went to see a ritualist, a traditional healer, and he gave him this to bath with. So he hid those from me because he knows how I feel about Ditlhare. And then I said, you and I are, a couple, are a partner, and we sexually active, So why would you hide that from me? Because you don't know how that might affect me as a person with completely different beliefs. And he said this is the reason why he hid that information from me, because he knew I'd overreact. Guys, hence I'm saying aligning with someone's spirituality is everything. Because see how selfish that is. And when I tell you that from that evening until I decided to fly back home, we were never intimate, because now when I take my spiritual life very seriously, and that kind of drew us apart. But I do not play with my spirituality, regardless of how much I love you or how much I might overlook certain things. I went home, was not comfortable with being intimate with him, because I understand the impact of being intimate with someone who's aligned with certain things spiritually. And then we continued talking, but it was different, obviously. And he would be the type of a guy, he suddenly became a hardcore groovist, those type of guys who would go to clubs and capture the Hennessy, the childish act. And I realized that there's no way forward. But then obviously, you cannot shut feelings. We still continued. December came. He came home, of course, Gauteng. When he came home, suddenly he's a person with financial distress. He's a person with financial issues, financial constraints. Obviously, as his partner at the time, he shares that with me, confides in me about how much he has to do, pay his siblings' school fees, buy them clothes. Just be a provider at home and assist his mom with all those duties. Fine, I empathized with him. I did not mind that. I mean, he's a guy. I believe it's the right things to do, So he knew that in that particular month, in that 2nd December, that's when I would receive, that's where my savings matures. How suddenly he's a person with financial burden. Did not think it's really about me, or he was cooking his story to manipulate me. As time went by, he then said to me, can he assist me to get a car, as my partner? And I'm like, oh, of course, I don't mind. I mean, I'd appreciate that. He's someone who knows cars very well. And he knew the process and the journey I was in terms of getting a car. I was happy that he wants to help. Of course, I allowed him to help, started looking for cars, and he then suddenly became a person who had problems with his car, and his car was new, guys, brand new from the box, from the garage. He suddenly became a person who had issues with his own car and was stressed about that. And I told him that, no, I mean, I'm not in a hurry, fix your things and we'll continue as soon as you found, your feet in terms of fixing your car. He comes to me, tells me, no, actually the issue is money at this point. He cannot fix his car, he needs money. How? Oh, okay. Like, so what's your plan? And he asked, can you please bring me some cash out of the money that you saved up for deposit? Came, guys, with this sob crazy story that I fell for. Did I not give him... Did I not give him that lump sum of money? I don't want to mention amounts. His own judge. Did I not give him that lump sum of money, guys? He told me that, okay, he was also a person who began a dog fella, and I know they share towards a specific time in December. So he told me he was going to give me from that money. Guys, I gave him a lump sum of money, like half of what I've saved. Okay? Yeah. That time came, see where they shared the money. He came with stories of how he has to do 1, 2, 3, and he does not know what happened to that money. There was a lot he had to do, so he'll give me my money. Jan. Guys, at that point in time, we were car shopping. I'm now frustrated, and my mom is asking me about the money. My mom is asking me about how the car shopping is going. When am I starting? Because my mom obviously didn't. My mom wasn't aware that he was already helping me with that process. Because, parents would tell you what you don't want to hear. I told no one. Okay, cool. Now he has half of my amount. Alright, Jan comes. He has to go back to Cape Town. He now tells me that he does not have money for a flight ticket and for rent. And I'm pretty sure you guys know what that means. Now I have to give him from the remaining half that I have. But guess what, guys? Me being me, I ngayikipha imali ngamnika umlesalon, ngase ngiyamkhokhela i-rent, ngiyamkhokhela ne-flight tickets from the remaining 50% he took. Okay, come February phela izinto zihamba kahle-ke mafika uyangazisa ukuthi ufikile, but the communication is not as before, of course. Hayi-ke isikhathi sihambe, fast forward to February. Things aren't going as well, manje phela, between him and I. We are fighting, we are not talking. He grieves non-stop. But he has my money. So kumuntu who's now ghosting me. Guys, I couldn't believe it. By February, March, he ghosted me. When I tell you, he then decided to ghost me. Then I decided, now this is the time that I involve people whom I believe might assist. First resort, went to my mom, explained everything. Obviously, things to get our parents into. Was not proud, had to give him his numbers. He reached out. Okay, cool. He was caught up with my mom, made payment arrangements. He was getting paid on the 15th, made sure that he paid, I think, 50% of the portion he owed, and then said he'll pay the remaining month end. Month end came. Okay, now my mom tried to reach out. He was telling stories. Okay, time went by. April, got my big girl job. Told my mom, leaving this whole bullshit thing, leaving this person. God has restored everything. that has been stolen. My mom was like, "You're mad, you're crazy." Second. Okay, we continued then. Okay, we let things lie low for a while. Okay, after some time, months went by. December time came. Okay, my mom was like, "You know what? If you don't communicate this with your dad, I'm going to tell him myself." I was forced now to just tell my dad in order for me to get the remaining amount. Made sure that I sit my dad down, explained everything to him. Then he was not happy, obviously, but then he took me to his parents' house. Then I knew where his parents' house was. We went there. My dad explained the whole thing and told him that reason why he's coming here, he's not really proud to be here based on these circumstances. However, he just wants them to understand that should anything happen, they really need to understand where everything stems from. Cool. The mom was not fine, obviously, with that. He considered that as a threat, which was kind of a threat. It was not okay. I agree. However, we had to do what we had to do to get what we want. Okay, he was I think at work at the time. I'm not sure if he was in the province or not. He got called. He said he knows what's going on, and then I knew the mother. He said he knows what's going on and he's willing to settle the debt. He acknowledges that. Cole made payment arrangements with my dad. Now, second payment arrangements honored the first month, second month quiet. I don't know what my dad said or did to the mother and him. And I received the call with him telling me that no, I thought I had a payment arrangement with your dad. Now he's issuing threats and telling me that something will happen to me. Whatever the case may have been, it was not good, guys. Told him where to get off, told him that he should leave me out of it. The way he decided to leave me out of it from the beginning, he'll now deal with my dad moving forward. Okay, thereafter, after he said whatever he said, the mom made payment arrangements with me. And then man, the poor mom honored the payments up until the end of my date, the end of the date. So that's how everything played out. Thank you so much for that's the end of it, guys. Moral of the story: don't ever grow young and naive, but we learn from our mistakes. So I'm so sorry, guys. I had to finish up my makeup off camera because I don't have enough space, but I'll make sure that next time that doesn't happen. I tried. So yeah.